Hello, Lynton here, and this is Sketch and Tell. This is the last of my series on the divinity of dogs. It's number 6, and I thought that I would go completely left field. I'm not going to look at any breed of dog in particular. So far I have looked at some of the amazing dogs that we might have at home, our beautiful Labradors, our Great Danes, our Border Collies, Alsatians, Whippets, and all the others. And I've been asking the question, can these wonderful companions that we have give us a glimpse or insight into God's presence and character, who is always with us on the journey through life? But I thought I would finish with what we call a mangy dog. In fact, it's a mangy street dog. And I really didn't know quite how to draw the dog, so I decided that I would just kind of do it very asymmetrical, nothing kind of, looking really clean cut, and nothing that certainly not going to win any awards at a dog show. I wanted the ears to kind of one be bent down and one up, so I'll just add a bit more detail to the ears. For the eyes, again, even there, I wanted the eyes to not be kind of asymmetrical. One's going to be a bit droopy, the other one's a bit more open, but I will just put a little gleam in the eye just to bring them to life. Put a little bit of white here, there, and there, and a little bit round here on the inside of the eye. For the nose, I decided again just to make it fairly ordinary, and down to the mouth I wanted to just have some little teeth sticking out. It's got an underbite, so we'll just have some teeth protruding here, just around the bottom. A bit of detail here on the nose. And for the colour of the fur, of course, I just decided to go for a whole range of misfit colours. Again, it's a Bitzer. But this dog is a very amazing dog because it comes out of a story that a number of years ago, when I was up in North Queensland, I just finished doing a presentation at a community meeting, and a woman came up to me after and shared, it took her a lot of courage to do it because I was a stranger to her, but she shared a little bit of her life story with me, and I'd like to just tell it without naming any persons. Just as a bit of a warning, this is really for older people, so if there's any really young children here, this is probably not the story to be listening at this moment. But this woman told me about how she had gone through her earlier years in life without a lot of love. And because of that, she was searching for love and got into a whole lot of really messy relationships, one after another. She had also gone through times where she tried to self-harm herself. And she said there came a point where she was at the lowest in her life, in a very dark space. She was up in a mining town, another messy relationship that had just ended, and she decided that she couldn't take any more. And she downed a bottle of scotch, took a whole lot of tablets, and she crawled under a four-wheel drive that was parked out in the front of in the road in front of her house. And she went under there and she held on to the axle. And her plan was to stay there until she became unconscious, and she didn't want anyone stepping in and interfering. But as she was slipping into unconsciousness, she was still partially aware. She felt something grab her by her jeans and to start violently tugging and pulling. She tried to resist, but she couldn't. It was too strong. And whatever it was pulled her and dragged her from out under of that four-wheel drive. And then she saw, to her amazement, that it was actually the mangy old street dog that used to hang around their neighbourhood, and everyone it was a nuisance to everyone, including to herself. But this dog not only pulled her out from under that four-wheel drive, but then stood over her and started to bark and howl until other people came, who were able to then call for the ambulance and call for medical help. And this woman told me, she said, in those moments, as she saw this dog dragging her out and realised what was happening, in her mind she decided that there must be a God. There must be someone who really cares for her at her lowest point in life. And if that was the case, if she got through this, she decided within her heart that she was going to try to get to know that God and make a commitment. And that, I guess, was the beginning of her journey in discovering more about this presence that I've been trying to talk about. This God who is with us. And it all became, for her, it began with this dog, whom I'm going to call Angel, because it really was an angel in disguise. For me, it is again a reminder that God intervenes sometimes in the most extraordinary ways in our lives. It could be through another person, it could be through what we read, it could be through an experience, it could be through a dream, and it could be through a mangy dog. But it also for me is a picture, and it's a description of what needs to happen for all of us, including myself, when we are going down that road searching for life, and we are probably searching for it in the wrong things. For me, definitely the wrong things. And usually they are things that we kind of feel that we're in control of because we think we're in control of our lives. And then things aren't working out, and so we start to become addicted to or attached to unhealthy things, whether it is substance abuse, whether it's unhealthy relationships, whether it's something else. Again, trying to manage and control and bring some kind of order to our lives. Until we can actually get to the point where we perhaps would describe it as the end of the road, we're never going to find the real source of life and joy and peace and love. This is where I'm going to share, from my perspective, Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, over the years, I think, has provided the most clearest and distinct and helpful guide to what it means, what we need to do, what steps we need to take to turn around on that road that we're on that's taking us the wrong way, to turn around and to face the one and to get to know the one who really is on our side. And even though I know there's 12 steps, it's the first 3 that I think are the most important, and then the others kind of start unfolding. And the first one is to come to a point where you admit that you are at the end of your road. It's that self-honesty, owning up to the fact that your life is unmanageable, it's in chaos. That's the hardest part, because we want to blame others, we want to find excuses, we want to justify. We think we can just do one more thing, try one more thing, and get our act together. But we need to come to that point. And for all of us, this might happen over a period of time. For others, like this woman, it can happen in a moment. But when you get to that point, there then needs to be the second step, and that is to come to believe that there is a power greater than ourselves, greater than yourself, who can actually restore you, who can actually make you whole. That there is someone on our side, something on our side, that is definitely bigger and better, more life-giving than ourselves. And then the third point, or the third step, is to turn our will and our lives over to make a commitment to God as we understand God. And for me, it was a very minimal understanding it was just a whole lot of head stuff. That was all. But whatever it is, this is why I love these steps, because it applies to all of us. Anyone, whether you have any kind of religious background or not. Whatever your understanding is, it's that commitment to turn your will and your life over to God as you understand at that point in time, and to trust in God's care. That is the beginning. And then the journey from then on is one in which you do need to link up with others who can help you on that journey. And that's why AA is always within a group, people whom you can be honest with, people who are honest with you. And that journey then starts to unfold where you find with God on your side, with you, in you, transforming you from the inside out, putting you in touch with the things that are real and life-giving. You can start to put together the things that you can do yourself, to let go of the things that you can't. And you'll find that it really will be for you a whole new way of looking and seeing and living. So thank you to all those angels in our lives, even if it is a mangy dog like this one. Have a colourful day. Thank you.